Here's my thing, RC and Bart, and I'll defer to y'all without question on this. But here's my thinking. Burrow is an elite passer of the football. I think he's big time. And obviously, Josh Allen has that capability as well. I mean, that's 1A. I mean, tomato, it doesn't matter. These brothers are something special. The thing that I find myself growing increasingly concerned about with Josh Allen are two things. This insatiable appetite to overcompensate for what you think is a diminished version of the Buffalo Bills from time to time. And the other thing is he's running with the football too much, RC and Bart. I think he's exposing himself. Now, this is the kind of thing that, listen, me and my slim self, my weak self, I understand it might not matter to a lot of people, but damn it, I shake Bart's hand, or I push Ryan Clark. They feel like brick walls, you know what I'm saying? Ryan Clark, I'm watching him train these kids out there on the football field. He got me wanting to come out there and try, damn it, at least it'll get me in shape. I mean, damn, this is RC that we're talking about. Bart Scott, I knew Bart Scott had no chance in hell of beating Jay Williams, and then when he went on a basketball court, because all he was interested in doing is fouling people because he wants to hit people. That's what these are brick houses that I'm working with, ladies and gentlemen.
He looks like a fouler.
Now I'm looking at Josh Allen. I'm looking at Josh Allen on a football field, and I'm saying I know he's a big boy. I know he's rough and rugged, but in the same breath, if you continue to subject yourself to those kind of hits that he takes, yeah, he can take them. But eventually, at some point in time, it ain't gonna matter because you took one too many. Joe Burrow doesn't do that. Josh Allen does. And that's what makes me lean towards saying I would be a Burrow guy before a Josh Allen guy, even though they're both fantastic, and I don't believe I lose with either.
First off, I absolutely love both of these quarterbacks. I think they are so different. Joe Burrow, from a cerebral standpoint, to me right now is the top quarterback in this league. The things that we would give guys like Tom Brady, the things that we would say about quarterbacks like Drew Brees, I believe that there's no quarterback that understands the position as Joe Burrow does. But with that being said, and I'm sure that when Stephen A was back in, at HBCUs, that they used to play this song a lot. The Freaks Come Out at Night. And when the Freaks come out, that's what I'm talking about with Josh Allen.
All the time.
Josh Allen is an absolute freak at the quarterback position. And let's think a little bit about what we saw from him in the divisional playoff round against Patrick Mahomes. When Patrick Mahomes was the best we'd ever seen him, he wasn't the best quarterback on the field that night. Josh Allen just couldn't get the football back because of overtime rules. And with that type of arm talent, with that ability to run, with the fearlessness that Josh Allen plays the quarterback position with, I believe I'd start my organization with him because he has so many things that you can't teach. There's so many things that Josh Allen can do that if you cut the film on and you were training young quarterbacks, you would say, don't try that. No, don't do that. Nah, you can't do that because you aren't blessed with what he's gotten. Now think of the difference between Josh Allen this year with Ken Dorsey and last year with Brian Daboll. Think about who Daniel Jones was when he had Joe Judge and now having Brian Daboll. I think you're seeing a little bit of a regression in his decision making, a little bit of his regression in understanding take the smart play because he's not being coached that way anymore. But if you put Josh Allen and Joe Burrow in the same situations time by time, team by team, position by position surrounding them, I take Josh Allen every day because he has so many things that absolutely cannot be measured and cannot be lived up to by other quarterbacks.
I want to go Stephen, Ryan, Steve. I'm the tiebreaker, right? You know what?
Yeah.
Stephen A., you're right again, Stephen. You're right because usually what you talk about, what Ryan is talking about, God-given ability, right? And that only can get you so far because what's built lasts longer than what's born. And, when you think about it, when I see Josh Allen, my biggest concern is I think I'm seeing Cam Newton. And we watched Cam Newton come and take this league by storm. You saw him take the Carolina Panthers to the Super Bowl. But eventually the hits catch up to you. And so I just don't think that Josh Allen, if he continues this play, remember that we thought that he wasn't going to be available because of the Jets game, because he put himself at risk. He had the shoulder injury. And that was in the pocket. and then he exposes himself out of the pocket. Eventually, somebody's going to give him one of those shots that's going to alter the way he plays the game. When I see Joe Cool, it reminds me so much of Joe Montana, not Tom Brady, Joe Montana. His ability to have a slow heartbeat, his ability, because he's a guy that had to struggle for everything that he has. You talk about his ability to be so athletic and poised within the pocket. Last week I watched a whole feature about, when he went to Ohio State, how he was loose with the football and how he's so great in the pocket and doesn't turn over the ball. Even though he gets hit a lot within the pocket, he's smart in being able to climb into the pocket, manipulate the pocket, and be able to manipulate the defenders with his eyes. He's a guy that's told us, and his swag is on 100,000. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback more confident. This man was asked about his window.
LSU.
He said it's okay, listen, LSU by way of Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? But you talk about, just his swag and his ability to live up to the moment. No matter what you say, and we know that this wasn't, Josh Allen's fault that, his defense forgot that how to play football, and Frazier swallowed his whistle. The fact that Joe Cool is went into that Kansas City Arrowhead and beat who we think is the baddest man right now, the boat right now. And if we really want to have some truth, Sturm, when we watched the matchup early in this season, before the unfortunate injury to Hamlin, they were on the way to going up 14-3 and looked like he was in control of that football game. So, I think we're going to see the difference. And the beauty about it is we can play this on paper and we can play hypotheticals, but it's going to play itself out on Sunday. We're going to have our answer about who we want to build our franchise around, because we get to see both of these guys with flaws, right? We have one team that defense is hurt and one without 3 starting offensive linemen. If Joe Cool can pull that off in a hostile environment, case closed.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I don't know if that answer will occur.
This weekend is going to shift to Joe Burrow. And we will now have questions going into the offseason about Josh Allen, why he can't get over the hump. It's the Peyton Manning, Tom Brady syndrome, right? It's he can't seem to get out his own way. It's the AFC East. It's the Dan Marino to Jim Kelly syndrome. Can't seem to get out of the East. That's what you're going to be looking at. And it is fair to question the perception of Josh Allen if he loses this weekend, just like we do everybody else. And Jay, you are right in a sense. When you're the number 1 overall pick, no matter what position you play, if you're not doing something that somebody thinks you should be doing, you're supposed to be the savior of a franchise. And if you haven't gotten them to where they feel they need to be, then they're going to look at you differently.
So, Key, I don't know why this name keeps coming into my head, and I know their games are very different, their styles and their approaches are very different, but I kind of see it trending. If Josh Allen gets knocked out by Joe Burrow, gets knocked out by Patrick Mahomes, like this James Harden-like feel to it, right? Like he does so much during the regular season, an absolute beast, puts up incredible numbers, but when it gets to the playoffs and you feel like you need it, he can't get you over the hump, and I feel like that narrative around Josh Allen starts to become a really big thing. It already kind of became a thing last year, but the rule got changed now because of the way it went down with him and Patrick Mahomes, and now it starts to become a bigger thing, especially if Joe Burrow with this offensive line that is decimated finds a way to beat Josh Allen.
Let me give you another
Bills.
analogy. I think I get that. I feel the same thing. I think of it more like Elway. Elway, although he got to the Super Bowl, right?
Elway was going to the Super Bowl like we was eating Tic Tacs,
no question.
Man.
He got them to the Super Bowl, but he wasn't able to get over the hump till he really wasn't Elway anymore at the end of his career, and they got him a running back. Then he won back-to-back, right? But people forget the perception of Elway back then was, he's great. He's the chosen one. He's got all this talent.
That's,
oh, my God.
That's fair and true.
But now Josh Allen, I can't say it's Elway.
Going, though, Max.
What's that?
But he was going.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
That's
but
what
the
I'm saying.
analogy is this. He's like Elway light in his career. You can't call him Elway because Elway was winning playoff games, getting to the championship, and then losing. But it's like Elway light. When you look at the guy with the most stuff, you go, oh, my God, Josh Allen, the biggest arm. Everyone wants him to win. Everyone wanted Elway to win back then. But it was Joe Montana winning all the Super Bowls, right? It would feel not that because Joe Burrow hadn't won a Super Bowl either. But in this analogy, Burrow is like Montana, and Josh Allen's like Elway. The more talented kind of
guy.
So
what is Patrick Mahomes?
He's a whole different thing. Mahomes is just like, he's on his own. Mahomes has done it all. He's done it all. He's Marino meets Brady or so. Like he wins.
Marino didn't win nothing, though.
Exactly, yo.
No, right. He's Marino in terms of he's just better than everyone.
Is there any cushion
Meets Joe Montana. He also wins more than anyone.
Is there any cushion for Josh Allen considering what happened?